Hello and welcome back to the IO Sportscast. My name is Izaak, and with me I have Ollie.
Hi guys.
And today we're covering our first general sportscast. Previous times it's been just Formula 1. Today we're branching out into a couple of other different sports. We're going to start with cricket. There's a few little things that have been going on recently and upcoming. We're going to start with the recent series between England and India. It's just been some incredible cricket being played.
The whole series, or are you on about the ODIs or the T20s?
Everything. The whole visit.
Everything.
The whole visit.
Fair enough.
Because you basically got the best two white ball teams in the world, and then you had England are I'd say two teams that were fighting for top four in the Test Championship.
That were fighting top two white ball teams.
Yeah, so you're not talking about two bad teams, but both sides had their moments that were questionable as to whether they should be international teams at all.
Yeah, no, that is a good point. That is true.
So, I think all of the T20s were night T20s, weren't they? They were all.
Yeah, it's India, isn't it? So they're all been.
They're all
night time.
Yeah, all like 7 o'clock starts in Ahmedabad, which is ridiculously big. This ridiculously big stadium. It's got like 120,000 capacity.
And they didn't have any fans.
No, well, so they tried to get. There were a couple of matches in this series that had like half capacity fans in.
Yeah.
Obviously, that had to get stopped halfway through. But it was quite nice seeing fans watching the cricket for a change. I wish it had been in England.
Could you imagine?
The atmosphere would have been ridiculous. Not saying that it wasn't in India, but
yeah, but if half a stadium would have probably sounded like a full stadium if it was over in England.
Yeah, I mean we'd do well to fit that many people in most stadiums.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, the T20s, India won it 3-2. I feel like we basically gave them the series. There were moments where we played phenomenal, and there were moments where we just may as well have not turned up yet. It was classic in England, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
But it always seems to raise a point in the white ball cricket with Jofra Archer. He doesn't seem to be bowling as flat out as he can. And in tests, I can kind of understand that because even with a short,
longer.
Even with a short burst of overs, like it's a longer form of the game, and you're still fielding, you are still running about.
Yeah.
But in a T20, you've got 4 overs to bowl, and
you just got flat out on you for all 4.
Yeah. Why is he in the team if he's not doing that? We're not known for having top end pace bowlers. That's not what England has ever been known for.
It's mainly his batting and his fielding.
Yeah, and occasionally we'll get a decent-ish spinner come through.
Adil Rashid.
Yeah, but really, in terms of bowling, England's known for like an 80-mile-an-hour swinger. You talk Anderson, Broad, Stokes, Flintoff. That's what we produce as a country, I guess. So now we've got Jofra Archer,
a proper fast bowler.
He's got the ability to bowl, in excess of 150 kilometers an hour. Pushing the 100-mile-an-hour barrier, like high 90s, 100 mile an hour. Why he's not bowling at pace constantly, I'm really confused by. While we're on Jofra Archer, we'll tick off something else. Is that he's had an injury recently caused by a fish tank. It feels like every England injury happens in a ridiculous way.
It's a silly injury, isn't it? It's not like an actual. He's pulled his hamstring or he's done his shoulder too much wear and tear.
Yeah.
It's a silly injury.
So Jofra's had surgery on his hand for that, which apparently has gone really well, so that's good. But it does mean he'll miss the start of the IPL. But Ben Stokes was saying that in order for Jofra to be able to bowl at top speed and have a decent length career, he needs to have his elbow done. So actually, I'm wondering whether there's an ongoing elbow issue, and that's why Jofra Archer's not bowling at full pace, because he knows that if he does, his career's only going to last a couple of years.
He'll aggravate it, but I reckon if he gets it sorted, he should be alright.
Well, I hope so, because that really does need to happen.
Because I reckon if he gets it sorted, he'll be one of the best bowlers in the world.
Oh, absolutely. He was man of the match.
Nobody will be able to deal with that pace if he bowls constant plus 90 mile an hour deliveries. You're not going to be able to cope with that, are you?
Yeah, he's got the real potential to be a nightmare for batsmen that we face. He got man of the match in the first T20, and we played fairly well. We didn't exactly have a massive total to chase down.
Did we win that?
Yeah, we won the first one by 8. We won both our matches by 8 wickets actually. But in the first one, India only scored 124 runs. So we really didn't have a massive total to chase down, and we did it with nearly 5 overs to spare.
Right.
So we went into that looking like, oh, actually, we're on top here.
Yeah.
And then second ODI, India won the toss and let us bat first.
No, you mean second T20?
Second T20. We batted first, scored 164, which actually was, at the time, I felt like that was fairly decent, especially when you were talking about the same stadium that we just played a match in 2 days before, similar-ish conditions, and we've just put on 40 more runs than India did. Turns out, not the case.
We bottled it as per usual.
India chasing it down with 2 overs to spare, and Virat Kohli, 73 not out, was actually quite a good innings. Fair play. I think he became the first male cricketer to score 3,000 T20 runs.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, which is ridiculous. And Ishan Kishan, with what a brilliant name.
That's a right name. That's a quality
name. He made his debut in this second T20 and scored a 50, and that was a really well put together innings, and between them, definitely won the match. I think he got man of the match actually, did Kishan. So, looking back, India definitely deserved to win that, but it felt like actually we just underperformed, and I think that's always the case when England bat first. We're not designed to bat first.
England normally do better when we're chasing a total rather than building a total.
Yeah. Third T20 comes along, we win the toss, we bowl as we do in order to chase down. Owen Morgan in his 100th T20I, first Englishman to do that, and there's only a handful that have done it in the world, only 4 or 5 I think. So it really shows just how important he has been to the development of English white ball cricket. Not bad for an Irishman.
Yeah, exactly.
But Josh Butler got 83 not out in what was a ridiculously good innings. Virat Kohli another not out, 70 odd that he scored. And Mark Wood taking 3 wickets in his 4 overs. So that was because it was a solid performance. But then we forgot how to play.
As per.
Yeah, we just forgot how to play. 4th T20 again, we won the toss. We field. India got 185, and we just didn't chase them down. Stokes had a lightning fast 46. He's going up like a strike rate of about 200 or something like that. So he was doing well, but
the thing is though, we lose early wickets like Jason Roy, sometimes he has an outstanding match, and then other times he'll go for a duck, and you're like, what's the point?
Yeah, it does feel like we're just a little bit inconsistent and very
We'll
much.
go like, it'll be like 0 for 1, and you're like, well, that's game over. No point watching it.
Well, in this case,
and then in other times he'll hit a 50 or 100, and you're like, oh, fair enough. Why couldn't you do that every game?
yeah, in this case, he put in a 40. It was Josh Butler that I would say let us down, got us off to a bad start. And normally that doesn't really happen. Like, we've got backup, because if you look at our top four, we've got like Roy, Butler, Milan, Bairstow.
You got Root as well, but he wasn't in T20 squad.
Yeah, just talking about the squad that we've got for this series. Actually, all our batsmen, the top six, Roy, Butler, Milan, Bairstow, Stokes, Morgan. Like, that's solid.
They can bat. They can bat as well.
Yeah. So it's not like we don't have reinforcements for when things go wrong. You know, Butler should be able to feel like he can go out and slog every shot if that's what he wants to do, knowing full well Milan's going to come in, Bairstow's going to come in and have their back.
You send Butler out there, behind him you've got the world's best T20 batsman.
Yeah, it just doesn't work like that though, does it?
No.
And if you lose an early wicket, suddenly everyone's wondering about, oh, do I play the same way? And at the end of the ODI series, Owen Morgan said that, you know, he'd send his team out to bat that way every single time, regardless of win or loss, because that's how they play. That's what they do. That's what they train for. You know, these outlandish shots that you see are not actually that outlandish. They're very, very planned. They're done in training, and if you can play the way that you want to play, then
and it works, then
it's going to work really well.
And if you play, you don't want to play. Yeah, if you play the way you want to play, it don't work. Then you've got to start questioning yourself. You're like, right, okay, why has it not worked?
Yeah, there's definitely going to start being a spiral there. There's a number of different little, not records, but little milestones. Johnny Bairstow got to 50 T20s in the fourth T20, which not bad. I feel like Johnny Bairstow's not really been around for as much as he should have been.
Yeah, I think he's better in white ball cricket than he is Test cricket.
I mean, he has his moments in both, doesn't he? He can be outstanding.
He could be world class, and then other times it's like, why have you played that shot?
Yeah. Jason Roy got his 1000th run in T20s, and David Milan became the quickest batsman in terms of innings to score 1,000 runs, doing it in just 24 innings, which is
24 innings.
That's not bad.
That's not a lot of innings.
No.
That's not a lot of innings in T20s.
That's pretty good.
24 matches. Isn't it? That is 24. 24 matches.
Well, assuming that you bat every match, yeah.
Yeah.
Sam Curran finished really strong in that third ODI, the last day night. Got 95 not out. It was a really, really good, well-worked innings. Unfortunately, we just fell a little short. Whoops.
We don't talk about the... Well, we have to, but we don't want to talk about the ODI series.
No, we don't have to. I was literally glossing over them. No, I think overall,
yeah, we were shocking in the...
we weren't at our best for any of this series, but compared to what we could have been.
Can we talk about Chris Jordan?
You want to talk about Chris Jordan?
Yeah, his catch. I think it was the last T20.
Oh yeah.
Did you see the catch?
Oh yeah.
On the boundary.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, it wasn't his catch. It went down as Jason Roy. He just ran full speed, plucked it out of the air, one-handed, lobbed it to Jason Roy, and Jason Roy didn't even have to move.
Right. In other cricket news, some sad news that's just come out today that Sachin Tendulkar's gone to hospital with COVID.
What? Oh.
He picked COVID up a few days ago and has now gone into hospital I think more as a precaution rather than anything major. But
Right, yeah, just to monitor him.
Well, yeah, he says he wants to be out in a few days, but obviously you don't ever want to hear about someone having to go to hospital for it.
Especially not as big a cricket star as he is.
Massive thoughts to him and his family, and hope that he does get better and it's not too serious.
Speedy recovery. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very much so. Finally, the IPL. New season of the IPL is about to get underway. I'm not a massive follower of the IPL, only because
I don't really follow it.
It's only really on ITV4 over here occasionally, so it's not like it's not like a mainstream event.
Yeah.
But I do watch here and there because it's like a party. Every match, people just go crazy.
They're not there for the cricket; they're just there for the atmosphere.
Yeah, it does seem that way, doesn't it?
Just with cricket on the side.
But they have got some of the biggest names in white ball cricket, and to see basically like fantasy style teams being put together. Mumbai Indians are coming into this as 2-time defending champions. I think they've won more titles than that, but the last 2 they've won. So going for the hat trick now.
Any notable names in that squad?
Well, I'm just looking at the draft list. Glenn Maxwell, Australian all-rounder. Moeen Ali.
What are these? They can buy these guys.
So these guys were sold during the auction, yeah. So Glenn Maxwell.
To Mumbai Indians, or
no, to whoever they want. Whichever team. It's like an auction. Whichever team pays the most money for them.
I guess.
Yeah. So Glenn Maxwell went to the Royal Challengers Bangalore. I think that's his 4th IPL team. So he's getting through them, going through about half of them now. But he's played 82 matches, so he has been around. You've got people like Jai Richardson, Moeen Ali, Tom Curran, Nathan Coulter-Nile, so lots of very well-known players.
Did Bairstow play last year? In the last IPL?
Bairstow is signed to, I just saw his name, he's signed to the Sunrisers Hyderabad.
What about Jofra?
He's at the Royals with Stokes and Butler.
Yeah, I was going to say that for Rajasthan Royals, them 3 normally stick together.
Yeah. Punjab Kings have got Chris Gale, Chris Jordan, KL Rahul. So there's a lot of... Go on.
Chris Gale still playing.
Chris Gale's an absolute beast. But yeah, no, he's got some crazy stats. Like he's the most capped West Indian cricket international player. He's the only player to score...
Of all time?
Yeah. He's the only player to score the triplet of centuries, which is a 100 in tests, double 100 in ODI, and a century in T20. First ever batsman to hit 1,000 sixes in T20s.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, he's passed Brian Lauer's run record in ODIs. He's over 10,000. Was it 10? Just short of 10,500 runs he's scored.
What, in ODIs?
In ODIs, yeah.
Wow.
It's got 1,600 T20 runs, over 7,000 test runs.
But yeah.
So yeah, it's an IPL draft. So yeah, there's a lot of big names, and a lot of money starting to be spent with some of these guys. So you've got a maximum budget of 85 crore, which I don't know what that is off the top of my head. So 85 crore is about, rough figures, about $12 million.
Wow.
Which,
that is a lot.
For cricket, is insane. Sorry, I've just seen in the Mumbai Indians that Lasith Malinga's listed as a released player. And for a second I read that as a retained player and got very excited. But he's just retired. So,
I think it would be good if they could have one player that's like retired that they could have as like a super sub, if you know what I mean. Like they could come in just for like one game or like a few overs.
Yeah.
Like they could bring a Shane Ward in or like a Lasith Malinga or a Graham Swan or something, or a Flintoff. Just for like 2 overs or something. And
Oh,
maybe a bat.
that would be terrifying if you just like, you know what, it's not going our way. Oh, Murray, come on.
Flintoff. Yeah,
Oh.
get Flintoff on bat. Let's go.
Oh, I don't want that. No.
But yeah, it would.
It'd be
like
nice.
that.
It'd be nice to have like
A
like
Legends team.
yeah, that sort of like just a one-off match, like maybe like to raise funds for charity or something.
Yeah,
and
you could
just
have like an IPL All Stars versus
like a World 11.
cricket. Yeah, cricket legends or something.
Yeah, and just just be able to see a mix of the legends going at it for a bit of fun.
Yeah, it don't have to be like a thing. Just do it for like charity.
Maybe in the future we'll see that, but obviously right now it's not a
It
thing.
would be good.
That would really, it would be.
Yeah,
really
it
nice.
would be. It would be good. I'd watch that.
Yeah. Right, well, that wraps up cricket. Let's move on to football. And we're starting with some sad news, unfortunately. Yeovil Town's captain has passed away.
Age 32, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I believe. Do we know what it was for? What
No,
was the cause,
well, I've not seen anything. Initially, Yeovil
Ah.
haven't said anything, so I don't know whether we know or not. But thoughts and prayers to his friends and family and to Yeovil Town. And obviously, losing anybody in a team is bad, but as a captain, that leader role is much worse. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Not only that, but obviously we had some other sad news as well. That Claude from Arsenal Fan TV, the guy who said the iconic line, "It's time to go." He sadly passed away as well.
Yeah.
Age 51, I think. Don't know what that was due to, but yeah, he was a massive Arsenal fan apparently. What I've heard. And
So I just like the idea that all this time he's not actually been an Arsenal fan; he's been a Chelsea fan in disguise or something.
Obviously he sadly passed away. Being on Arsenal Fan TV, I think since it started. But yeah, thoughts and prayers go out to him as well.
Yeah.
He'll be missed by all at Arsenal and by all Arsenal Fan TV. Not just that, but by the football world as
community
well.
in general. Yeah.
Yeah, he was known UK wide, and I think he was known worldwide as well. But yeah, that's the sad news out of the way.
That is the sad news out of the way. Although you say that, the next thing on my list might make you quite sad.
What?
Man City, they could potentially do a quadruple.
I hope they don't.
So, as you're a Man United fan, how do you feel about that?
I don't think they will. I think they've got what? They've got Dortmund in the next round of the Champions League. I think they'll beat them, and then you've got Bayern versus PSG. I think Bayern will just edge that, and then I think Bayern will just destroy them in the semis. I hope so anyway. If I won't be able, I don't know what I'd do if they won the quadruple.
So you think that
They're going to win they're going to win the league. They're probably going to win the FA Cup.
Mhm.
I hope they don't win the Carabao Cup. I hope Tottenham do one over them. But it's Tottenham. They're known to bottle everything. But yeah, I don't think they'll win the Champions League. So I think Bayern. If Bayern beat PSG, I think Bayern will beat them. It'll be close. Don't get me wrong. It might be like a 2-1 or a 3-2. But I think Bayern will beat them in the semis.
You say Tottenham bottle it, and while that is normally the case in finals for Tottenham, they also did stop Man City getting the quadruple back in 18-19. Sorry, I want to rephrase that. In 2018-2019 season. Not back in 18-19.
I was going to say, they weren't even founded in 18-19.
Yeah, but 2018-19 season, they won the Premier League, the FA Cup, the League Cup, and then in the Champions League, Spurs knocked them out in the quarterfinals. So you're saying though that this time, Man City will win the League Cup, they'll win the FA Cup, but they'll fail in the Champions League.
Yeah.
To Bayern in the semi-finals.
Bayern or PSG, well, one of them two, because that's who they have in the next round.
Oh, come on, man! Make a bold prediction. Make a bold prediction. I want you to call it.
What, you want me to call the quarter-final and the semi-final?
Yeah.
So Bayern will beat PSG.
Right.
And
then beat Man City.
Beat Man City, but I'd say it'll be very, very close. I reckon a Robert Lewandowski winner. will send Bayern Munich through to the Champions League final, where they will retain, possibly against Chelsea, which I'd love to see. Thomas Tuchel versus Hansi Flick or whatever his name is, because Chelsea haven't lost a game yet, and they're still in the FA Cup. I think.
Interesting, yeah. So it's Chelsea, Man City in the semi-finals of the FA Cup.
Go on, Chelsea.
It's interesting. So in the other side, you got Leicester, Southampton.
Well, we don't care about our side of the draw.
Well, no, but it's interesting. It feels like Leicester are not a big finals team, and they've suddenly got a real chance. Or Southampton, who shouldn't be there. In a sense of you're talking about what should be the best 4 teams in the competition. Southampton, in my opinion, are not even in the top 10.
No.
And they've managed to get to the semi-finals, so fair play. I was going to move on from Man City and stay with Man City. Sergio Aguero is on his way out.
Yep.
His contract runs out at the end of the season, and he's been told that he's not getting a new one. But at the same,
he's getting a statue though.
Yeah, he is getting a statue
alongside Vincent Kompany and David Silva.
3 legends of this era of Man City.
3 only legends of Man City. I don't think they've got any legends.
I'm sure all the Man City fans are now screaming several different names. He's getting a statue. I don't quite know where he goes from here. And I don't know where Man City go either, because they're losing their highest goal scorer ever.
All time, yeah.
Yeah. But Pep Guardiola's been like, we're not signing a new replacement because we don't have the funds to do that.
Is that a double bluff though, Bob?
No, I genuinely think the COVID thing is really making Premier League teams actually think about it.
I don't want them to sign another striker.
I mean,
I don't want them to.
Yeah, the name that is immediately getting floated around is Haaland.
But his representatives, his dad and his agent, Mino Raiola, have been in Barcelona and Real Madrid this week.
Yeah,
so it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does. Dortmund are saying that they want £128 million for him.
You just wait till next season and £25 million release clause.
Use his release clause of £64 million. Why would you?
Just wait till next year.
The other option, I read this on the BBC. The other option that apparently City could go for is Harry Kane. I don't see that happening in a million years. One, because Kane's contract doesn't run out till 2024 like Haaland's. Secondly, because I think Spurs are going to do everything they can to keep hold of Kane for his entire career.
If you were Man City, who would you sign in the summer? If you could sign a striker, who would you sign? I'll give you 3 options.
All right, give me 3 options.
Haaland, Mbappe, or Kane.
Haaland, Mbappe, and Kane.
Kane.
If I've got the option, I'd sign Haaland. He's got potential. He's doing really well. He's got chance to be able to form the final product of his career under Guardiola. If that makes sense. He's still learning the sport. He's still learning the game. I don't think Mbappe or Kane would fit into the team. There'd be a struggle there, I think. Let's wander away from men's football. Let's go to the women's.
Okay.
News about the 2023 World Cup, Women's World Cup. It's going to be hosted in Australia and New Zealand, and Sydney will host the final, and Auckland will host the opening game. First time that the women's game is going to have 32 sides. It's currently at 24, but they're upping it to 32 sides, which is great. But then the next men's World Cup after that is the 2026 World Cup, where we're moving to 48 teams. Yeah, just really reinforcing the point that women's football still lacks behind men's football, and I don't know why. It's definitely making a massive improvement, and it's so much more available now than it was even 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, because they put certain women's games on Sky or BT, don't they?
There's loads on BBC. That's where I watch most of the women's football is on BBC, which is great. But yeah, it's going to be hosted in 9 different cities between Australia and New Zealand. So Adelaide, Brisbane, Dunedin, Hamilton, Melbourne, Perth, and Wellington, and alongside the opening match in Auckland, the final in Sydney. That sounds like quite a nice little holiday. I would love to be out there. But jumping back to British football, Eddie Howe could be on his way to Celtic.
Ooh.
So he's been
Where
out
is he at the minute? Is he
he's-
jobless at the minute?
He's jobless at the minute. He's been out of management since he left Bournemouth back in August. He's still fairly young as a manager. He's only 43.
Yeah.
Obviously was at Bournemouth when he was really young. Had 6 seasons there, I think. Maybe more.
He got them promoted from League One to Premier League, did he?
What was he there from League Two? Didn't he do the full sweep?
Yeah, I think he did.
Maybe over
right.
2 spells, but I think he did the full sweep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously Bournemouth relegated now to the Championship, and he left them last year.
Did he leave or did he get sacked?
I don't know. That's why I said he left. I think it might have been mutual.
Mutual
with the relegation, but it's Celtic. I don't know how that's going to go. I'd like to see him there.
If you was a Celtic fan, would you take him?
I don't know, as I'm not a Celtic fan. I think he's a decent manager, but I think there's going to be questions about whether or not he's got it. Because he's still a young guy. He's really only had that one successful run with Bournemouth.
I've got a good question for you. Okay, so would you scrap the Scottish Premier League and merge Celtic and Rangers in the Premier League?
No.
Why not?
Because it's the English Premier League.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, how do you think if they were to ever go in the Premier League, how do you think they'd get on?
5th, 6th, somewhere around there.
You reckon top mid-table?
Yeah, I don't think they. Well, they've proven they've got their odd moments in Europe, but you don't ever say, "Oh, Celtic are with a right chance of getting to the quarters and the semis of the Champions League."
Yeah.
And if that does happen, they Scotland's like, that's fantastic, whereas we're like, oh, if one of our teams doesn't get to the final, we're disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to be up there immediately, at least. But let's jump over to Spain, because I don't think this has ever happened before. But Athletic Bilbao could win the same trophy twice in 2 weeks.
What, the Copa del Rey?
Yeah. So they've got
Spanish Super Cup.
No, they could win 2 Copa del Rey titles within 2 weeks, because last year's final got last year's final got postponed in the hope that it getting so hopefully that they could play it with fans this year. That's not happening. It's going to be behind closed doors.
And a Bilbao in that?
Bilbao in both, yeah.
Who have they got in both?
Real Sociedad in the first one, and Barca in the second one.
That'd be sick. Imagine the scenes if they won it back to back. Copa del Rey, it's the same trophy. Hey, we lifted this last week.
It would be really strange. So I don't think that's ever happened before. Best of luck to them, because that would be a fantastic little bit of trivia. How long between Bilbao's 2 cup wins?
How long between the 2020-2021 Copa del Rey final and the 2019-2020 Copa del Rey final?
Yeah.
2 weeks. Yeah, correct.
So they've not won a cup in 37 years and could win 2 in 2 weeks. Which is fantastic. I'd love that.
So on the concept of football, what's your opinion on the ever controversial VAR?
I like the idea of it. I think it's been implemented slightly wrong, and it should be available for a referee to use at any point in time that he wants. For anything, a bit like in rugby.
I was just going to say that.
Yes, initially there's going to be a slightly slower bit of play, but at the minute, there's VAR checks that go on, and the players don't know any information, the referees don't know any information. While it's all happening, no one knows what's going on. Whereas at least if the referee's called for it, you can play it on the big screen, have the VAR decision be an actual conversation with the referee, like they do in rugby. Yeah. I think that's the way it should have been introduced, and I hope it changes to that.
I think they should have, obviously, it's at Stockley Park, and that's where VAR is based.
Yeah.
But I think it should be in the stadiums like rugby and football.
Yeah.
And I think they should be able to hear the communication between the referees and the VAR.
That's what I want.
Like you do in rugby.
That's one of the things, because then everyone knows where they stand.
And you can hear it. If you're watching it on telly, you just like what they're talking about. But if you actually heard the conversations, you'd be like, oh yeah, fair enough. VAR stuff, most of the time, obviously in rugby, it's more, when you watch it, it's played at full speed, the replays, and then in football they always slow it down, and everything always looks worse slowed down. I think you should play it at full speed. Like in rugby, they've got super zoom. They should have like super zoom or whatever.
Well, they've got it in rugby that normally it does play at replay speed, but then you hear the referees being like, "Yeah, just play it at full speed for me." That's what they want to re-see it at full speed. Yeah. Right. Well, let's wrap up football with a quick check for the international break, because I know there is one story you are really looking forward to announcing.
Yeah.
Go on then. Go on. You have it.
So obviously this week, I think it was Wednesday and Thursday, international football was on. We don't really like international football, but it's got to be done. And there's a little team called Germany, and they were playing.
You might have heard of them.
Yeah, you might have heard of them. 4 or 5-time World Cup winners. They're only a small nation. And they were playing the giant team of North Macedonia, and North Macedonia won 2-1.
What a result that is!
Yeah, I know. And I saw a crazy stat that I can't remember how many. I think it's like 30 years or something. Germany have only lost 2 games in qualifiers. One was to us, 5-1.
Yeah, the last time they lost a qualifying match.
North Macedonia.
Last time they lost a qualifying match was 20 years ago. 5-1 against us, and now 2-1 against North Macedonia.
And then obviously they're the only 2 qualifying games I've lost, and I was like, for me, North Macedonia, they're probably not going to get to their World Cup. But for me, it's like beating. If I was like the North Macedonia manager, to me, it's like winning the World Cup because you're beating one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah. Have you seen that group table?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to read it out to you now. Okay. So each team has played 3 matches. Yeah.
Yep.
And the current standings look like this: Armenia, North Macedonia, Germany, Romania, Iceland, Liechtenstein. Just put that in there. Armenia, North Macedonia, top 2.
Are the top 2 teams?
And then Germany, Romania, Iceland.
What points are they on?
Armenia on 9, North Macedonia and Germany on 6, Romania, Iceland on 3, Liechtenstein on none.
Right, so Armenia and North Macedonia could actually qualify for the World Cup.
Armenia have won all 3 matches so far. They beat Romania.
Germany yet?
They beat Romania 3-2. They beat Iceland 2-0. And they beat Liechtenstein 1-0. Not yet played Germany.
Ooh.
September they played Germany.
Boy.
Right, yeah. At the minute, so if things were put on pause right now, Germany would not be there.
We'd qualify because we're top of our group.
So at the minute the qualifiers are Portugal, Spain, Italy, France, Belgium, Denmark, Turkey, Croatia, England, Armenia. That would then go into the second round would be Serbia, Sweden, Switzerland, Ukraine, Czechia, Scotland, the Netherlands, Russia, Hungary, North Macedonia, and then Wales and Austria from the Nations League. Wales and Austria at the minute, the best teams that are not guaranteed a position at the minute. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just looking now to see if there was any other big shocks. Oh, it was Republic of Ireland. That was a big shock.
Who did they lose to? Or did they win?
They lost 1-0 to Luxembourg.
Oh my god. I don't get it. Republic of Ireland. Who's in their group? Have you got their group?
Yeah. Group A, Portugal 7 points, Serbia 7 points, Luxembourg 3, Republic of Ireland 0, Azerbaijan 0. They're
Republic of Ireland should be at least second.
The Republic of Ireland are above Azerbaijan on goals scored for bottom place. There's
Republic of Ireland should be second or third in that group.
They should be fighting Serbia for second in that group, yeah.
100%. Obviously, Portugal are going to run away with it.
Yeah, I'm just looking through the other groups. I don't think there's any big shocks. I mean, Group G looks like it could be a fascinating group. So that's Turkey.
That's not our group, is it?
That's Turkey. Turkey, Netherlands, Montenegro, Norway, Latvia, Gibraltar. Latvia of Euro 2004 fame, Group D. I'm with you, Latvia. Euro 2004 was like my favourite football tournament.
I wasn't old enough. I think I remember that.
Oh, I remember.
I know Greece won it.
Yeah. I stayed up. I had a little analog black and white TV with a little aerial sticking out of it, and I tuned it up, got it in, and at 9:30 when I should have been in bed was watching Charisteas, 57th minute from the corner, beautiful little header. Oh,
it's mad that Greece have won more Euros than England.
So have Denmark.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for Gibraltar.
It would be nice to see them do well.
Because I've been a few times. It's a nice place, but I know they're a part-time team, but I'd love them to eventually get to a European, a World Cup or a European tournament.
Yeah, I like the underdog story. I'm a big fan of doing it on Football Manager, just taking the underdog teams and making them win. Not always successfully, but sometimes you get fantastic little stories like taking the Cook Islands to be World Cup
World Cup final.
So, shall we very, very quickly touch on the new rugby season? Rugby League season, 2021 season.
Started last week, and we've been a little bit tetchy. Both very close matches for Leeds, coming on the good end first time round and not so good end this match. Just happened. Yeah, I didn't see today's match, so I'm going to go watch the highlights afterwards. It was all right. We could have done better.
Was it a performance thing that we could have done better, or were we just beaten?
We just didn't take his chances. It was 18-10 to Castleford. But we just didn't take his chances. We had chances to score, and we just didn't take them. We made some silly errors as well.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, and that we do have a lot of injuries, so we don't have a full strength squad out. We're playing some of the youngsters in the back line. His forwards are alright. It's just his backs really struggling because we don't have his first choice guys.
Yeah. Go on.
We've got Saints next week in the Cup. Which is on BBC One. Which I hope we win that because we're the defending champions. But it is Saints after all, who are the Super League champions. So.
I say, and they did the last 2 seasons, aren't they?
Who? Saints, yeah.
Saints, yeah. And they've been lightning this. They've only conceded 6 points this season.
I know, yeah. I saw the game the other day.
They're on it, like worryingly on it. It would be nice. It would be nice to knock them out of the cup, though.
It would.
What are your predictions? Who's going to win it? Who's going to the playoffs?
Ooh. Let me see this table 1 second. I think it's top 4 go through. I think is it top 6 this year?
So top 6 to the playoffs. Top 2 go to the semi-finals straight away.
Right, so I think Leeds will get into the top 6.
Mhm.
We have to do. We have to do better. We have to do.
Finish
I think-
5th like we normally do, sort of thing.
Yeah, win it from 5th like we're renowned for. I think it'll be Wigan Saints probably fighting out for League Leaders Shield.
Mhm.
I think let's see, Leeds will get into top 6. I think either Lee or Hokea may get relegated.
Ooh, interesting. Not Wakey.
No, Wakey normally sometimes do all right, but as I'm looking at it, they are exactly bottom with Lee.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be Lee and Hokea for relegation.
Interesting.
I'd go Lee.
Right, well, I think it's time that we wrap it up.
Yep.
It's been a pleasure once again. Thank you very much, Ollie, and thank you to you, the listeners. Thank you to you, the listeners. Make sure to check us out on our social media at IO Sportscast on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and that notification bell on YouTube, so you never miss out whenever we post a new sportscast. And if you're listening on Spotify or your favourite podcast platform, make sure you follow us, so you'll be notified in your feeds when a new episode comes out. It's been a pleasure, as I say. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.